So thank you for showing up in that regard. What's her name? Vicki Ward loves doing these things. She is a passionate person when it comes to blood donation. I ran into her, I don't know how many years ago, and I didn't even know her. I was sitting in a waiting room up at Our Lady of the Lake, and this lady came in the room and started singing, and I'm like, this is unique. I've never just been in a waiting room and somebody decides to sing. And she's singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then as soon as she got to the end of the song, she went, hey, I'm the blood lady, or whatever. Okay. Yep, and I've known her ever since. So great people. Just make you aware of that. Some other things in the bulletins you may want to be aware of. What else? The Davidsons, and I suspect they'll be here in our second service, so you may catch them during breakfast if you want to hang around and catch them. Matt and Rachel, of course, Rachel has played drums for us for quite a while now. This is their last Sunday with us. They are hitting the road, making a loop of some of the national parks, and then they're going to land down in Orlando for a while. They're trying to rent out their house. Their house is literally less than 5 minutes from here. If you get to Ralph's, you've gone too far. So they're there in the right, off in that little subdivision after you get through the intersection here. Beautiful home, 1.8 acres, all kind of stuff. If you want to rent that house fully furnished or know somebody looking to rent a house, you can point them to the Davidsons. That would be a blessing to them for sure. So I think, Zach, is that all the announcements we have? What is it? Oh, yeah, Tristan. So a little update on Tristan, and we'll have more to share with you maybe next week. We shared Wednesday night. Tristan, I got a message the other day that they're looking at him maybe coming home in the next week or so. Yeah, how crazy is that? That's so exciting. So, and then one of the family members reached out to me and said, hey, I know you talked at one point about maybe recognizing the people who helped in that moment at the crash, and I said, absolutely. So she's trying to coordinate lining all of them up for a Sunday, and Tristan being here with them as well. So look forward to that. We'll make you aware when that's coming. We talked last week about whether we were going to go to one service this summer or not, and when I walked in this morning, there were about 15 people sitting in here, and I said, look at these people. Look what they did. When I said, we're going to count next week and see what the numbers look like, y'all all called each other and said, stay home, so the numbers will be there. And, but y'all messed it up. We're at about like 80 in here at this point. So I just don't think we can pull off one service this summer. I know it's a terrible problem to have. There's too many people here, and we love each other too much. So if you want that fellowship time, hang around for breakfast because you get to catch the people coming in for the second service. So just would encourage you to take advantage of that. It is always fun to hang out with everybody and have a good time together. So I think that's it, huh, Zach? All the good stuff? Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up. Next Sunday's two Sundays from now. 2 Sundays from now, Father's Day. We make a big deal out of Mother's Day. From what I've seen, I think literally you're supposed to spend twice as much on your dad as you do on your mom. It's just, I don't know where I got that number. I'll find a source for you. But just a heads up, be working on it. Yeah, you're good with that? Okay, good. I like it. Yes, I got a lot of nods on that one. So, all right. Well, we're jumping in this morning, and I had a hard time coming up with the title for this one. I settled on Heavenly Materialism is what I went with. I don't know if I'm running. Are we up, Sean? Good? Click. Here. Heavenly Materialism. I was going to call it Heavenly Hardware. I don't know. We think sometimes about heaven, and I don't know how you grew up and what kind of tradition you grew up in or what you heard, but, we talk about halos. We're going to get a halo when we get there. When you get to the gate, they hand you a harp. You got to learn how to play the harp, and you got forever to learn it, so it's okay. But we think about crowns. Oh, I got a crown and jewels in your crown, and we've laid up treasures in heaven. Isn't that crazy? It's just kind of like us from an American standpoint. We want to capitalize it, right? We want to make it capitalism, and we're going to say, oh, I'm going to have more stuff than you when I get to heaven. You want to see? Just look for me. I'll be the big mansion up on the hill. Really? I'm just telling you, heaven is not about what we can accumulate and what we're trying to pile up when we get there. Now, Does the Bible talk about storing up treasure in heaven? Absolutely it does. Is it so that we can flex how much stuff we got? We're going to walk around and go, is that a Rolex you're wearing? You're close. It's a Timex. It's close. Similar letters. Got this. Like we're going to walk around and show off what we got. No, you know what we're going to be doing throughout eternity? We're going to be Rachel's here. Rachel, wave at everybody back in the corner. Yay. All right, you snuck in on us. Good. All right, we're going to have a group hug at the end, okay? We're going to put Rachel up here. We're all going to gather around. We used to do that when I was in a youth group, and we'd form a circle, and you had to hug, everybody around the circle for it. Maybe we ought to do that on Sundays. We'll see. Some of you are like, this is my last Sunday. But says greet the brethren with a holy kiss, all right? So just, be okay with a hug if you get away with that. But when we think of all this, we think it's about us accumulating stuff, and it's not. The treasure that we lay up does what? It points everything to Jesus. Everything throughout eternity points to Jesus, to the glory of God. That's what heaven is about. It's not about us. We're not trying to celebrate ourselves. We're not trying to get there and go, look how good I did. Well, you made it. I was surprised, but you made it, and I'm glad to see you. I think you're in the back here somewhere, right? So that's not the picture of what the Bible is trying to talk about and picture in heaven. So anybody ever heard about crowns mentioned in the Bible? We're going to wear a crown? Yeah? All right, some crowns. We got some jewels. Got some jewels. Mansions? Absolutely. It's interesting. Some translations instead of saying in John 14 that in heaven there's many mansions, it says, in my Father's house there are many rooms. It's interesting. May just be a big apartment building. I don't know. We'll see. I personally hope that's it. I want to be in God's house, okay? I don't need my standalone mansion. I don't need my space in heaven. Some of you are like, no. I'm kind of solitary. I'm not a people person. I need my space. You're not going to in heaven, okay? It's going to be okay. You're going to love being around people. You're going to love connecting with people. Sonia and I talk about this all the time. I shared a couple of illustrations with you last week about connecting with people. I walked into Panda last night over on Segan. There's a new Panda over there. If you haven't been over there, it's the biggest one around. They used to have, of course, the only one around was on College, and Sonia and I would go there all the time. And then they built one out at Jubin, and that's about the same distance from our house as College is, so we'd go to Jubin. Well, the lady who used to be the manager at College moved out to Jubin, and we'd see her all the time there, and we'd walk in, and she'd wave from the back, and hi, good to see you. And then when they opened the one on Segan, they moved her there so she could run that one and get that one started and up and running. So she's there now. Ran into her there a few weeks ago. I walked in last night, ordered. She was over in the back, and golly, they've got 20-something employees running around there. Boy, they've got a payroll at that place. And they're doing a great job, and the girl's checking, out my food and doing everything. And the manager comes over and speaks. And then she comes around the counter and comes over there and hugs me. And I got home and told Sonia, how crazy is that? I mean, that's just crazy, isn't it? There was a time in my life I would have been like this. I just would have been like a board. Because that's how I grew up. To the day my mom died, when I would hug her, my mom would be like, okay, can we be done with this? All right. She just was a tree. She never learned how to wrap you up. I hug our kids, I'd wrap them up. It just embarrasses, especially the guys. They're like, Dad, stop. This is too weird. But it's about connecting with people. Heaven isn't going to be this place where we're trying to get away from everybody. But listen, we're all going to have one theme in heaven. It's going to be the glory of God. That's it. So I wanted to deal with this heavenly materialism concept this morning just because we get this idea of rewards and benefits and, 401k plans in heaven and all that. But I want to start out with this. Did anybody see this post this week? There's a young lady in our church who I'll almost get emotional telling the story. I hate when that happens. I'm just glad she's here. Okay, this tire blew out on the video. I don't know if it was the front right one, but there's not one there, so it's a good chance it was that one. The tire blew out. The Jeep left the road. The Jeep rolled multiple times. Somebody said, wow, and you didn't even have the top on the Jeep. No, the top was on it for the first roll, and then it left. I mean, look at this thing. That's why I was asking Ken about the Jeep out front, because I'm a huge fan of Jeeps. Look, we've had two of our family members who've rolled Jeeps. One of them, why do we say head over heels? Right? I'm head over heels right now. This is normal, right? Heels over head would be what you don't want to happen, right? So one of them went heels over head and rolled this way rather than sideways and walked out of the Jeep with a few scratches. The other one got airborne after hitting a culvert, landed and rolled multiple times in a Jeep just like this one. By the way, today's service is brought to you by Jeep. So, yeah, I'm hoping I'll get a sponsorship. Anybody work at the Jeep place? Maybe you can hook me up. But man, Casey, we are so glad you're here. And she's here with just some bruises and some unbelievable. You know, you hear me say at times that we presume upon tomorrow. And that we think we've got tomorrow to do things or a year from now to do things. And that we don't realize oftentimes what a day can hold. Don't put things off. There's something you're going to say to somebody. You're going to tell them how much you love them, how amazing you think they are. Would you do it right now? Would you take that opportunity and say, yeah, good move. Thank you, Richard. I love that. Awesome. I'm serious. I love that. He just leaned over to Ashley and told her how amazing she is. I love that. Don't wait, right? Because sometimes we're kind of working up the courage. I got to say something. I don't know how they're going to respond when I say, I think you're amazing, right? I walked out the door this morning, and by the way, I am running on just caffeine this morning. I'm not a big caffeine person, but we have Kate and Michael's 3 kids this weekend. One's almost 5, one's almost 3, one's almost 1. We got them Thursday morning, and they're going home this afternoon. In 6 hours, somewhere close to that. Not that I'm keeping time. We've had a blast with them. I mean, they're just amazing kids. But, our kids have been worried about us. Are y'all doing okay? How are things? Look, we had 4 kids in 5 years. Okay? Sonia and I did. We had 4 kids in 5 years. So we had a 4, 3, 2, and 1 at one point. So we're okay with kids. And we've had a great time. But you know what? I got ready to leave this morning. Rosie, who's almost 5, walking out the door. And I said, okay, bye, guys. Papa loves you or whatever. And Rosie went, Papa, you look handsome. Yeah, right? My day's done. I don't need any of y'all to say anything this morning. Yeah, you save it for somebody else. Papa, you look handsome. I'm like, what? Who taught this kid? What do you need, kid? You need some money? You want the car keys? Help yourself, So, but look, nobody doesn't, isn't that a double negative? Nobody doesn't like, right? Nobody doesn't like to hear those things. We all want to hear those things. Tell somebody you love them. Tell them how amazing they are. Look, this may not be you, but it might be them. And you missed your opportunity. Don't waste another day. Tell somebody what you need to say to them. So we jump into our message today. What would you do if you found out you were related to the Walmart family? You go do your ancestry, you're back, grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grand. Sam Walton? What? Wait, he sent me off to camp and they never picked me up? I'm a Walton. I'm part of that family. They're like multi-billionaires, and most of the family are like some of the leading billionaires in our country. What would you do if you found out about that? Would you just be like, that's nice. That's cool. I don't know why. You'd retire. I'd retire. I love it. I'd be contacting somebody, wouldn't you? I'd find the best lawyer here in town and say, hey, I got a deal for you. I cut you in on 10% of this. They're like, my fee's 30. Well, I'll talk to somebody else, but you're going to wish you'd have taken the 10. Now I'm in the Shark Tank, right? So, but you would feel different about yourself if you were able to establish that bloodline and connection it would be an absolutely life-changing thing, wouldn't it? You'd never have a financial worry again, that's for sure. You'd have other things in life that were taken care of and set. So let's talk about this morning, is there a reward system in heaven? We'll circle back to that other. Will we get rewarded with heavenly jewelry for our suffering and extra effort for the kingdom? Right? I mean, because look, there are people who have it a lot harder than we do. We walked in here this morning. I have the privilege of having been the pastor of this church for 20 years since we started it in August of 2005. And it's publicly known. I mean, it's on the internet, it's on Facebook, it's on the website that I'm the pastor here. Knowing that, being completely out as the pastor of this church, I don't look in my rearview mirror my whole drive here wondering who's tailing me, right? Because they may kill me when I get here. They may be looking for me to take me out because I'm the pastor. We don't live in that kind of atmosphere. But we have brothers and sisters in the body of Christ all over the world today who have to meet secretly. And they're going to somebody's house, but they're not going there for a religious gathering. They're going there for something else. And when they get there, they're going to talk about Jesus. But they can't publicly declare that, and they can't say that in their country for fear of being imprisoned, or it could cost them their life. You know, I tell you about Sharoon over in Pakistan all the time, a 2% Christian nation, a Christian that is almost exclusively Muslim. This young man rides around on a little motorcycle that says Jesus on the front of it. I don't know why he doesn't just put a bullseye on the front, right? I mean, that looks like you're just a target. I remember years ago, the Far Side cartoon. Anybody familiar with the Far Side? I love that. There's some deer out in the woods, and one of them's, got a big bullseye on it, and the other deer looks at it and goes, bummer of a birthmark, man, right? Right? If you're in another country that's 98% Muslim, you got a target on you. There are people looking and following you and watching. It almost would make sense that when they get to heaven, they get something more than we do. Right? Like you would just go, I'm cool with that. I'm okay. I mean, they had a harder life. But you understand, listen, heaven is so much more significant for somebody who's been through that because they haven't had the freedom and joy that we already enjoy. You know what we do a lot of times as Americans? We sit back and go, I don't feel very much joy. I don't really feel very happy. Kidding, I got to clean the house this afternoon. My 4-bedroom house. Got to move all this junk I got. What a pain. I literally talked to somebody this morning. No exaggeration. When I was fixing my cup of coffee, somebody came up to me and said, do you know so-and-so and so-and-so? They've been coming here on and off some, and back at Christmas we did something to help them. They said they got evicted from where they were living recently because their lease had run out. Not because they weren't paying, but their lease just ran out on them. And they're living in a tent. This is a family, husband and wife with some kids in a tent. This is here. This is us. So when you go home and have to move something to dust it this afternoon, go, wow, God, thank you. Right? You know, for people who've suffered throughout life here with some ailment, some illness, something that just won't let up, you think heaven's going to be a little sweeter for them? I think so. You know, we pray for comfort all our life. God, give me comfort. Or is that just me? Do y'all pray for comfort? Okay, I just making sure. God, let this go good. Let this happen for me. I never get up in the morning and pray for trials. God, I hope today is really a bummer. I hope I'm stressed to the limit so I have to trust you today. I hope I find myself in some overwhelming situation that makes me just desperate even for my own life. We don't pray that prayer. Or for people who live like that on a daily basis, they're going to get to heaven and go, I don't know how excited you are, but I'm pretty excited. This is pretty crazy good. So is that how it works? No, heaven's its own reward, okay? How amazing heaven is its own reward. And we all get the same deal. I shared with you a couple of years ago when a great friend of mine invited me and Sonia to go to Turks and Caicos for a week to an all-inclusive resort. And it was beautiful. Every plant there is beautiful. How do you get rid of every dead flower on something the next day? I don't know. I guess they have people just go home and go around and deadhead all those plants at night when nobody's looking. It's like Disney World. Oh, we don't have any dead flowers here. Nope, you thought you saw a dead flower. That wasn't a dead flower, right? But you know what? It's the same beautiful place for everybody. It's not better for somebody else. It's just maybe more different than what they usually live in. You go, wow, this is insane. Will some of us be judged by a different or stricter standard? Anybody heard that anywhere in the Bible? Everybody's scared to raise their hands this morning. They're going, I've heard it, but I'm not raising my hand. He'll call on me. Then I'll feel judged by a stricter standard. Is it in there? Yeah, it's in there. It's in James. James 3:1, dear brothers and sisters, not many of you should become teachers in the church. Let me sit down for the rest of this. For we who teach will be judged more strictly. What's it mean? When I get to heaven, has God got a harder test for me? Am I going to get there and he's going to go, everybody knows who's John the Baptist's dad was. Do you know who his great-granddad was? Right? Is there like a quiz when we get there that's going to make it harder? Does God go, well, you were a pastor and you didn't do as good a job. So no. Am I judged more strictly in this lifetime? Absolutely. You see what kind of car the pastor's driving? How can he afford that? Let me just tell you, he can't. God does miraculous stuff. By the way, it's a 2013 Subaru Outback, right? God just does miraculous stuff and takes care of things, right? I remember years ago, a friend of mine who was a pastor here in our community, he's not here anymore, but somebody gifted him a Hummer back when the Hummers first came out. And everybody blew up. I can't believe that guy's driving a Hummer. It was somebody who owned a car dealership, a guy named Jerry Lane. I don't know if y'all know that guy, but great guy, very generous guy. Gave this pastor that he loved a Hummer. Said, here, drive this. And it caused too much grief. He ended up getting rid of it, giving it back. We judged by stricter standards? You bet. In this lifetime, not eternally. Don't be afraid to teach because you're going to be judged harder when you get to heaven. The test is the same for all of us. You know what the question is? What did you do with my son, Jesus? It's a one-question test. What did you do with my son, Jesus? Did you trust what he did for you on the cross as your hope of salvation or not? That's it. Yes or no? It's a one-question test, isn't it? I get the same test you get when we get there. But yeah, it's more challenging in the days here. You ask Sonia what it's like to be a pastor's wife. I mean, forget about me, right? I signed up for this. She's along for the ride. You ask Sonia what it's like to be a pastor's wife, she'll tell you it's great at Graceworks Church. The ones before this, not so much. Right? Did you see what she was wearing? I think that was too short. Did you see what that was wearing? I think that was too long. It's a no-win, week to week. What do? You honor God. You live for God. Don't be afraid to step out. Some of you have sat on the sidelines and said, I don't want to be up on the stage playing. I don't want to get up there and sing. I don't want to be up there like Jennifer Russell and sing on Sundays on my birthday. Your 40th birthday? 50th birthday? There we go. The big 5-0. I love it. Half a century. Are you kidding? That's incredible. Welcome to the half a century club. I don't want to hurt your feelings. You're on the downhill slide. But the slide is great, right? When you get to the top of the slide, you sit down and you get to slide. It's good. You're on the good side of it. It was all climbing to this point. But a lot of people don't want to do anything. I'm not going to work in the nursery. People will criticize me. I'm not going to serve breakfast. People won't like the choices I put out. You know why there's 25 flavors of creamer out there? Because somebody came in one week and went, where's peppermint? Why don't we have peppermint? I would ban peppermint, just so you know, for those peppermint drinkers in here, right? Somebody wanted to know this morning, what cream do you drink? I said, the only one. The only one that ever should have been made. The one that's twice as big as everything else on the thing, hazelnut. What's wrong with the rest of y'all? What's wrong with you people? Oh, right? Why are there more? Because somebody, I don't know why we have to drink hazelnut. Stupid pastor, he likes hazelnut. Judge more strictly, there you go. People will judge them more strictly. It's not God you have to worry about. People will judge more strictly. You have to worry about God. Guess what? God's not going to judge you more strictly, but guess what? God's the only one I'm living for the approval of. Now, I like if you like me. I'll just tell you, I'm a people pleaser. I like that. I like if you like me. I like if you think I look handsome today. I like that. Oh, thank you, Mona. Thank you. We're going to fix your window just because of that. So, but look, I've had enough people tell me I look ridiculous. I've had people tell me I need to shave. I've had people tell me my hair's too long forever. I used to go visit Sonia's mom and dad, who I loved dearly before they died. We go over there all the time. Oh, you can't afford a razor anymore? Church not paying you enough for a razor? Oh, that's so funny, right? I never heard that one. Right? Are you kidding? Come on. Why do you care what I grow on my face? I'm afraid it's going to fall out up here. I'm trying to get some reserve going down here. I'll start combing it up over the sides if it gets long enough, tying a bow up here or something. Quit worrying about people. Y'all are coming for that. Y'all are, do it. See, that's why I get in trouble. People chant stuff like that. Oh, I love this. Will we get wings for our good work and become angels? Every time a bell rings, you know, an angel gets his wings, right? Where did that come from other than a movie? Well, when we get to heaven, we get wings. I'm sorry, you don't. If you want to fly, learn to fly here, okay? You can get wings. Go out to the airport. They'll teach you how to fly. You don't become an angel when you get to heaven. I'm sorry. Hope it's not disappointment. But you know what? It says we're better than the angels. What? Those poor guys. Wow, we're better than the angels. God has better promises for us. Will we wear crowns? I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Parade around with a crown all through heaven. Trying to check out what badge does he have in his? What did he get? Oh, he's got rubies? What? Rubies are so yesterday. I don't like rubies. Huh? Rubies are so yester eternity. I don't know how you say that, right? We're not wearing crowns around heaven. Where does it come from? Well, Revelation 4 says this. Whenever the living beings give glory and honor and thanks to the one sitting on the throne, the one who lives forever and ever, the 24 elders fall down and worship the one sitting on the throne, which is who? Of course, God, the one who lives forever and ever. And they lay their crowns before the throne and say, you are worthy, O Lord our God, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and they exist because you created what you pleased. We get a verse about the 24 elders. It's not me and you. You're not going to be one of the 24 elders when we get there. This is a vision of heaven that was given to Paul. And we're going, oh, haven't it? We're going to wear crowns and lay them down. No, it's not us. God is the one who deserves all the glory and honor and praise, not us. It's not about our glory throughout eternity. What great crown you get. James chapter 1, verse 12. God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. Wonder what he does for the rest of us, right? Do you patiently endure testing and temptation? I mean, are we being honest? I don't know. I don't really like testing and temptation. I'm not an amazingly patient person to begin with, but certainly not in testing and temptation. I mean, I get a splinter and I'm aggravated about it, right? I am a glove freak. I have gloves everywhere at my house. I have gloves in my car. I've got 2 pair of gloves in my car. I've got gloves within reach all over they're almost like flashlights. Why? Because I hate to hurt my hand. I'm not going to pick up a piece of wood with you without gloves on. Just not doing it. I might get a splinter. These are soft hands on purpose, okay? I have cultivated these things. It's miserable when you get a splinter. It's like, is this ever going to quit hurting? Well, do you patiently endure testing and temptation? I don't know. If you don't, then we're outside of what God blesses, it says, right? Because what? Afterward, they'll receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. There's a crown. Wait a minute, Pastor. There's a crown. And I think there's another couple of crowns. I think there's a crown of glory. I think there's a crown of righteousness. I think the Bible talks about. Here it is, the crown of life. What is that? The crown of life says we're enduring testing and temptation every day. Do you ever get up and just go knock your head against the wall? I mean, wow, it's just nuts how crazy the world is some days. The silliness that happens, the crazy things people do. I laughed this week at one of the they caught one of the escapees at the Hammond Air Plaza on airline. Wow. You know what he was doing? Sitting on a bench out front of a department store. I have a $50,000 bounty on my head. I think I'll just sit here on a bench. That makes me want to go knock my head against the wall. You busted out of a prison somewhere. You're going to sit on a bench in Baton Rouge. That's amazing. Guess what? The crown of life is our eternity with God. That's the crown we get. It's not a crown you're going to wear on your head. And when the great shepherd appears, you'll receive a crown of never-ending glory and honor. Crown of glory, the Bible talks about. You're going to receive a crown of glory, not a crown you're going to wear. Look, Paul said to the church at Philippi, you are my crown and my joy. He wasn't wearing them around. If he was here today speaking to Prairieville, he would say, the Prairievillians are my crown and my joy. I'm going to add a book called The Prairievillians. Crown and joy. He wasn't wearing them around. God didn't go, good job at Philippi, here's a crown. I don't know how you're going to wear it with all the others you got on. Just stack them up. You'll look good throughout eternity. It's not a literal crown. Now the prize awaits me, the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on the day of his return. And the prize is not just for me, but for all who eagerly look forward to his appearing. What's the crown? Is it a crown only a few get? No, everybody gets it. What is it? It's eternal life. With God, yes, with God. In his presence, what? It's a crown of what? Righteousness. How incredible. And the prize is not just for me, but for all who eagerly look forward to his appearing. We all receive the crown of life, the crown of glory, the crown of righteousness, but they are not literal crowns. You can't wear 3 crowns at once. We're not stacking them. What a burden that would be through eternity. Every doorway you came to, you'd have to duck down to get under because your crowns are so tall. We're not competing for status or standing. That's our Americanization of the gospel. Let's make it a competition. Let's see who can accumulate the most. You know what you ought to be doing? You ought to be giving crowns away. Here, let me give you the crown of life. Let me give you the crown of righteousness. Let me give you the crown of glory. Come join me. We're going to be together throughout eternity. It's going to be amazing. The crowns are all about what we have because of Jesus, not because of us. We are one with Jesus. We abide in him, and he abides in us. What would you do if you found out I didn't know I left that in there. That's funny. To Jeff Bezos of Amazon. I added the one about Sam Walton at the beginning or whatever. What would you do if you found out you were related to the Walmart family, the Bezos family, or whatever? Look, work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember, the Lord will give you what? An inheritance as your reward. An inheritance. And that the master you are serving is Christ. What has to happen for an inheritance to be enacted? Somebody's got to die, right? And Jesus died on our behalf. And guess what? We get the inheritance. The Bible says we are joint heirs with Christ. You're written in the will. How amazing is that? Why about? Why about? What about? What about 1 Corinthians 3 where it says we can lose our rewards? Anybody seen that? Anybody know that passage? Wood, hay, and straw. Gold, silver, and precious materials, right? Precious stones. Look, 1 Corinthians 3, according to the grace of God which was given to me, that's interesting, didn't earn it, it was given to him. Like a wise master builder, I laid a foundation, another's building on it, but each man must be careful how he builds on it. No man can lay a foundation other than the one which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. And if any man builds on the foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each man's work will become evident, for the day will show it, because it is to be revealed with fire, and the fire itself will test the quality of each man's work. And if any man's work which he has built on it remains, he will receive a what? A reward. What's the reward? More square footage in your mansion? More crowns? More jewelry? Better watch? No. It's the joy and peace of life, of living a life that was purposeful and meaningful for the glory of God. Living a life with a view to eternity. Living a life for the glory of God, not for your glory. Not to say, look what I did, but to say, look what God did. Look what he's given me. Look what he's done. Verse 15 says, if any man's work is burned up, he'll suffer loss, but he himself will be saved. Yet so as through fire. What's he talking about? He's talking about false teachers here. There are people who are built on the foundation of Jesus Christ and they want to distort it. Why do churches ever teach something different than what's in the Bible? Because they're trying to control people. They're trying to manipulate people. They're trying to enslave people to make them beholden to that church so that they can control them. And if I tell you you're not going to make it to heaven unless you give X amount of dollars, unless you serve X amount of hours, then now you're under this burden to do that. That's not the gospel of Jesus Christ. You know what it says? Even those false teachers, if they've placed their faith in Jesus as the hope of their salvation and they've just added a bunch of garbage to it, they're going to be saved, but all of the work that they've done is going to go away. It's going to have amounted to nothing. It's going to burn up in a moment. Don't build your life on tradition, on religion. Build your life on the gospel of Jesus Christ. You go, well, I don't know what the gospel is. Well, study it and read it. Here's the gospel. Jesus died to set sinners free. That's the gospel. If you place your faith in, it's why this verse is up here. Ephesians 2, 8 through 10. It is by grace through faith that you are saved. Not as a result of what? Works. We don't earn our way. Not as a result of works. It's by God's grace. It's a gift. That's the gospel. Don't add anything to it. Please don't make it about works and mansions and crowns. Matthew 20, 1 through 16. Y'all got another hour? We'll cover this if y'all do. Man, I really need to cover this. Maybe take a screenshot of that and read this week. Let me condense it for you. The foreman goes out in the morning, hires some people before the sun comes up, says, you want to work today? Here, come work for me. I'm going to give you $20. He needs more workers. He goes back out at 9 o'clock and says, hey, you want to work for me today? I'll give you $20. They say, I'm in. Goes back after lunchtime. Needs some more workers. 1 o'clock. Hey, you want to come work for me? I'll give you $20. Comes back at 3 o'clock, almost quitting time, and says, I could sure use some help here wrapping up the day. You want to come work for me? I'll give you $20. Anybody mad you started the day before sunup? Wait a minute, you're telling me those people who showed up at 3 o'clock are going to get paid the same thing I got? That's what they said in the Bible. And God said, what's it to you? What's it to you if I want to love people and bless them and give them what I want to give them? What's it to you? You agreed for what you agreed for. Should have negotiated a better contract. Right. Look. You ever get mad when you hear that Jeffrey Dahmer accepted Jesus in prison? I mean, one of the most horrific serial killers of our time. People, I don't think it was real. I don't think it was sincere. I think it's jailhouse religion. I don't know. It's between him and God. I don't have an answer, but I'll tell you this. I hope he's there. Because if he can go to heaven, I feel a little better about my chances, right? But sin is sin. His sin was horrific in our eyes. But guess what? Your sin was horrific in God's eyes. You're not sitting well today. I don't care. I don't care if you're like, well, I've never done this or that or anything else. I'm really a nice person. Well, you're lying right now. Right? It's a sin. Deal with it. And just go, I need Jesus. Everyone received the same thing. Isn't that crazy? There's a great song by Mercy Me talking about whether you're 7 or 95. I love that. You can get saved at 7 or you can get saved at 95. Same square footage. Same hardware. None. No crowns. The crown of glory, the crown of life, the crown of righteousness that's all about Jesus, not about us. Oh, that's the end. I didn't know that was the end. Wow. How exciting. We made it. I was just thinking, I hope we don't have a bunch more to go through. Wow. I hope that's helpful to you in some sort of way this morning. Because I've sure heard a whole lot about rewards. And it's made me feel guilty a lot of times in life that I wasn't doing enough. You ever feel like you're not doing enough for the kingdom? You look around at somebody, I wish I was like them. Boy, they just get it all done. They're on fire for Jesus, right? Man, it's not about being on fire. It's about trusting what Jesus did. But listen, I started out by asking you, what if you found out you were part of the Walton family? And then I threw another slide in and said, what if you're part of the Bezos family? What if you were? Can I tell you this? You're part of a far better family than either of those. Because everything those people have is one day going to rust. It's going to catch on fire and burn. It's going to return to dust. It's going to all go away. It's going to be meaningless. I don't know because I've never been there. But I don't really know what matters once you're at $10 million. I just don't know how another million matters. I don't know how 20 million is different than 10 million. And I don't know how 100 million is different than 10 million. You go, well, you're pretty dumb because you can buy some stuff. What? Now I get a house with gold fixtures rather than stainless steel? Ooh, I need to take a shower in a gold. What? I need my water to run through something gold. What? Who in the world cares? I need a car that'll go 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. No, you don't. Please don't buy one. We don't want you to have one. We're scared of the way you drive as it is. The last thing we need is that. Right? We're pursuing stuff that matters for nothing. You want to feel some reward today? Help us figure out where these people are that are living in the tent, and let's figure out what we can do to bless them. I promise you, you'll go to bed tonight and go, wow, I don't need any wings, and I don't need a halo, and I don't need a crown. I'm just glad that I got to be a part of God's purpose for a minute. You know what I'd try and do? I'd try and do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. That's what I get up and do every day. I hope you do too. I get out of bed in the morning. I go, use me today, God, for your kingdom's purpose, however you see fit. I challenge you to throw your hand up tomorrow morning and say that. Because guess what? You're a part of his kingdom. You're his family. You're his people in the world. You're it. I'll end with this because this is such a great line I told Zach on the way here. Talking about the Davidsons moving. Matt, we already talked about you guys and did a plug for your house that you paid me to do and all that. So just wanted you to know. I figure Rachel will tell you. But I told Zach on on the drive in, I said, I sent them a text the other day and said, we're already looking forward to your next visit. Because we just love this family. And I said, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I said, I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but I just, I'm more transparent than I should be, right? So in other churches that I've been a part of before Graceworks, I would have said to Zach, there's a lot of people in our church I'd like to see move, but not the Davidsons. All right? Just being honest, all right? I can honestly tell you, I can't make that statement at Graceworks because there's nobody here that I think, they're a troublemaker. I wish they'd move. You guys are just a blessing. Be that blessing in a bigger circle. Go outside of here. Don't just bless one another here. It's so fun and it's so good. But doesn't it feel good here? And so invite some more people to the party. Okay, let's go love on some more people. Let's stand, be dismissed with a word of prayer. If you want to talk about Jesus, we'll be here at the front. Thank you for your support of our ministry financially. You guys know you can give at the boxes at the door. You can give electronically through the app. Thank you for your faithfulness there. Let's pray. God, wow, we are blown away this morning at the reminder that it's all about you and not about us. We're already so crazy blessed. We live already as those who have been written into the will. We know our eternal destiny. We know our inheritance. You've already blessed us with righteousness. You've crowned us with life and glory. God, please don't let us live waiting for someday. Let us live in the fullness of it today for your glory, and may eternity just be its own amazing thing when we get there. We love you and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.